Strong draft pick out of Kansas last year, came away this season. Here's a look at that elbow that was avoided by Pippen.
He just put it up. He didn't swing it. Yeah, if they want to bite your elbows, Marv, there's nothing you can do about that.
From one big guy to another who has had personal experience. 3.5 left in this first half. And it's Utah by 2. Jordan lost the dribble, but a reach-in and a foul against the Jazz. Ball was knocked away from Michael Jordan. Howard Eisley picks it up, his first.
And what this lineup for Chicago does is make Utah make a decision, and what they've gone with right now is put their point guard, Howard Eisley, on Michael Jordan. Mismatch.
Foul on Eisley. That is his second. And for the Jazz, their 4th team foul.
And when Michael gets that post position against a smaller player like that, the Jazz know they have to come and help out, as all 5 purple shirts in the paint ready to give Howard Eisley some help.
And turnovers beginning to hurt Utah. They now have 15-7 in the third quarter. They not committed more than 16 in a playoff game this year. A reminder, tonight, right here on NBC, after the Bulls and the Jazz, on most of these NBC stations, there is terrific must-see TV comedy heading your way. Third Rock from the Sun and Men Behaving Badly. That's all coming at you tonight after Game 1 of the NBA Finals, right here on NBC.
Jerry Sloan up. Remember, he called all the plays, even with the brilliance of Stockton, who's not playing now. Sloan will call everything.
Oh, what a move by Eisley.
And a great call by Jerry Sloan, because the Bulls trying to hide Kukoc, a 4 perimeter defender, on the point guard. So Utah just spread the floor, took advantage of it.
Utah by 2. 2:45 remaining in the third. And the ball back to the Jazz. Timeout is being called by Chicago.
Eisley isolated against Kukoc. The shake and bake, the hesitation. Kukoc trying to find his center of balance. Can't get it. Eisley, nothing but net.
The product of Boston College, Howard Eisley. Well, earlier we saw Dennis Rodman take an elbow from Karl Malone. These two guys have been going at each other from time to time during the course of tonight's game. We talked with Karl Malone on what it's like in going up against Dennis Rodman.
I'm not going to get caught up in a Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman situation. I've walked away of situations in my life, and you call everything from a wimp to things you can't say on TV. But that's fine with me. I've worked 12 years to get here. I'm not going to look back when this season, this series over with, and say to myself, God, I shouldn't have did that. Will I take some elbows and things from Dennis? Absolutely. Will I give some as this series go on? Probably so.
And both players have kept it under control, and both players not getting involved with the official. That's a good sign.
Karl rarely gets involved with the officials. Only when they're taking it from him.
Michael Jordan with a good angle jump shot following up on the Jeff Hornacek roll. So the Jazz now leads 56-54 with 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Now Russell handling up high against Bushler. Goes right at him. Pippen rebound. Kukoc running the floor.
The Jazz have gone away from Karl Malone. He's only taken 5 shots since the first quarter when he took 11.
Jordan putting moves on Eisley and pops it out. Pippen for 3. The Bulls 57 and the Jazz 56. 18 for Scottie Pippen. Here's Malone. Karl Malone right back. But he has not shot well. He's 7 of 17. He has 14 points along with 12 rebounds. The Jazz by 1. 1 minute to go. And the foul is against Chicago. It's an offensive foul on Jud Bushler.
Scottie Pippen gets wide open because they have to double team Jordan with the lineup that Chicago's coming with, and Eisley the only guy in there to match up with Jordan. Karl Malone can get that top of the key jumper anytime he wants.
Hornacek, a three for Jeff Hornacek, who has caught fire, and the Jazz now lead 61-57.
At the open, we talked about, Jordan wide open.
It counts as the foul. Isley turned his head, and Jordan beat him backdoor. So Jordan to the line. That's 3 on Howard Isley.
Well, it's difficult enough for the big guards of Utah, Shannon Anderson, Jeff Hornacek, to try to play Michael Jordan throughout this offense, but nearly impossible for a point guard like Howard Isley. Not used to seeing Michael Jordan. He's getting killed right now.
3-point play for Michael. He is 22 for the game. It's Utah by 1 with just under 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Isley for 3. Oh, Howard Isley comes right back.
He's just playing one-on-one with Michael Jordan out here. It's his lifetime dream come true. Utah, I think, should put Isley on Bushler and then put Hornacek on Jordan here.
Well, Jordan shooting over Hornacek. Down to 15 seconds remaining in the quarter. Utah with the ball up by 4.
Bust him again.
Down to 5 seconds. Isley lost it. Here's Pippen. Chased by Hornacek. And Pippen goes all the way. 5/10 of a second remaining in the quarter. After 3 here in Chicago. Game 1 of the NBA Finals. It's the Utah Jazz 64 and the Chicago Bulls 62.
Well, Howard Isley getting a little bit too frisky and turns it over, and it's been a terrible turnover quarter for the Utah Jazz as Scottie Pippen has really come alive.
So that's the end of the third. We'll be back here in Chicago after these messages from your local station. Welcome back to the United Center in Chicago. Low scoring start for both clubs. Utah up 18-17 after 1. It's a 64-62 game as we head to the fourth quarter. This game 1 of the best of 7 NBA final series. Chicago outscored Utah, as you saw, 24-22 in the third quarter. 12 points for Scottie Pippen and 10 for Michael Jordan for 22 of the 24. Jeff Hornacek had a big third quarter. 9 points in the third for Hornacek. Harper for 3. That one did not look good on the release.
It's the Jazz rhythm right now. They're in control of this game. Stockton and shoot the layup, please.
Malone. And last touch by Chicago, but Utah very upset that there was no foul called on that contact.
Brian Russell's head was last touched by Brian Williams as he hammered him to the floor.
Stockton unselfish to a fault there. Should have been 2 points.
Stockton and Anderson now in the backcourt with Foster up front along with Russell and Malone. Jerry Sloan has done some shuffling, as has Phil Jackson. Brian Williams back in. Pippen got a piece of it to break up the pass.
Well, that's what Scottie Pippen can do for you defensively, sensing where that ball was supposed to go and timing his jump just to spoil the play, as it looked like Karl Malone had good low post position.
Here is Russell. And Harper with the rebound. Brian Russell just 2 of 8 shooting. So Tony Kukoc on the floor with Pippen and Williams and Bushler and Harper. Pippen. Harper with the rebound. Foul. Let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, well, Karl Malone is going to come out of the game. Antoine Carr will go in. Karl Malone is having terrible trouble with the right palm of his hand from that nasty gash. They really can't get it to stop bleeding and pussing, and it just continues to get worse as this game goes on, and there's really no way they can cover it, Marv, because if they cover it, he'll have absolutely no feel of the ball at all. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Jim. So Karl Malone sitting down once again as Ron Harper goes to the line for the first time. Ron Harper yet to score.
to find a hot hand and stick with them. They have not done that. Antoine Carr hits his first touch jumper. Now they need to establish more continuity. They've always gone away from the guy who's made the previous basket. Not good strategy.
Michael Jordan sitting down, getting a rest. Scottie Pippen. Well, Scottie Pippen with 22.
Well, as Michael Jordan gets a rest, the Bulls have to find some kind of offense, and it's been Scottie Pippen throughout this game. And to think we thought he was going to be well below par in this ball game, he's having a terrific one.
Scottie Pippen came in as a question mark because of that sprained foot. Basket won't count. And a foul before the shot attempt.
Brian Russell defensively keeps chasing. Now, Scottie's never going to shoot a turnaround three going left. Brian Russell playing an undisciplined defensive ball game right now and is showing up back on his offense. He's a better player than that.
Foul called on Brian Williams. Hey, what's your reaction to the report by Pete Messi on Showtime earlier? Chuck Daly, the new head coach of the Orlando Magic.
Oh, obviously the Magic wanting that championship experience that Chuck Daly can give you, having won 2 championships in '89-90 with the Detroit Pistons.
I thought Matt Guokas was still coaching that franchise. He'll make it fun to play there.
Yeah,
Chuck Daly, a great coup.
We're under the same impression. Tonight we look back at the 1991 NBA Finals, Lakers and the Bulls. Game 1, the Bulls led 91-89 with time running out. But Sam Perkins hit this clutch three-pointer as the Lakers took Game 1, the first NBA Finals game in Bulls history. The Bulls did come back to win the next 4. In recognition of this classic moment, the Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. As you can see, the team of the 90s, the Chicago Bulls, that's the first of the 4 championships, followed by 3 more. Michael Jordan, right now getting a rest. He will make his return very shortly. Carr extends to the 68-65 Utah lead. Antoine Carr with 6 points.
Outstanding team basketball. Once again for Utah, the penetration, the dish, and then finally they come back to a guy who made the jumper before.
See Scottie Pippen's work, 14 points.
Kukoc shuffled his feet and they didn't call it.
Scottie doing his damage in the second half. Stockton and Anderson in the backcourt. Foster with Carr and Russell up front. Here's Foster, has the good touch. Not that time, though. Stockton calls for time. Now Stockton saving the possession. So with 3 minutes gone by in this 4th quarter, it will be Utah ball when we resume. And the Jazz up by the score of 68-65. Well, for those of you who would like to continue with the NBA Finals, we'll have a post-game special on CNBC. That'll be immediately following the game. Our entire cast will recount it all with highlights and live press conference interviews and guests as we look back at Game 1 here in Chicago. That's the NBA Finals post-game special immediately following tonight's game.
Well, one of the reasons why I think Jerry Sloan gets so much out of his bench is he's pretty much a clock substitutioner. In other words, every player coming off knows when he's going to get to play. We got Shandon Anderson, a rookie, getting meaningful playing time in the 4th quarter.
Jerry Sloan, one-time head coach of the Chicago Bulls, coach here in Chicago in 80 and 81 and 82, replaced incidentally by a fellow by the name of Rod Thorne. Had a solid playing career here in Chicago. Very, very popular player.
Rod Thorne, of course, is now the director of operations and enforcement of all the rules for the NBA. Rod always looking over my shoulder.
Yes, as player and broadcaster.
Tonight, the big 4-4, the 50 greatest players in the history of this game. Jordan and Pippen with the points. Karl Malone, a lot of shot attempts. I'd like to see John Stockton shoot a little bit more myself.
Well, I'm surprised that Utah has not run more pick and rolls. They're usually good for about 50 a game. They're not even about half that.
They went away from it in the Houston series, Matt, because of the way Houston guarded them. They haven't come back to it.
And a reach-in foul. Once again, it's on Carr. That's his fourth.
Scottie Pippen, the ability to shoot the jumper, something he's developed, and his defense has always been spectacular. And we're seeing Scottie Pippen playing on a bad leg, now playing a game of skill as opposed to athleticism, which he entered this league in quite a few years ago.
See the turnaround by Pippen in the second half. There's Pippen over Russell. Mentioned John Stockton not taking that many shots. Just 4 of 6 from the field. Bulls able to break it up. Utah with 19 on the shot clock. Here comes Michael Jordan. Jordan over the scorer's table. He'll check in with 8 minutes and 3 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. And the hand is for Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen has kept the Bulls in the game tonight. And off the inbounds, Ed Rush with the indication. Foul is called, or kickball.
Execution on the baseline out of bounds play. Karl Malone, the best passing big man, just picks them right apart, right through the arms of the helpless defenders.
A tripping foul. That's the kicking indication on Jordan.
Well, we saw Michael Jordan have some defensive lapses early in the first quarter, and then coming hot off the bench, made a lapse right there as he tried to overplay that underneath out of bounds play.
That's 3 on Jordan. Here's Stockton. Well, John Stockton with only his 7th shot of the game. He has 13 points, 8 assists. It's the Jazz 70 and the Bulls 65. Jordan and Harper at the guards. Bushler with Rodman and Williams up front. Harper is open for 3. That is his first field goal.
And with John Stockton helping off Ron Harper, he has been open time and time again, unable to get a good-looking shot until that one. But Stockton, a very good help defender.
Brian Russell is gambling foolishly, and it's not paying off defensively.
Utah with the ball up by 2. 5 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Malone hit from behind by Williams. He and Williams in a wrestling match along the baseline.
The bread and butter for the Utah Jazz is their pick and roll. Karl Malone will slide up, set a massive pick right there, and then Stockton steps over. He's coming off thinking jumper the whole way. Again, the decision-making capability of John Stockton, unsurpassed. First free throw attempt for Karl tonight.
Karl Malone shooting 77% from the line in the playoffs. He had an 18 for 18 game in the playoffs this season. The free throw percentage during the regular season up to 76. You recall last year he was 57% at the line in playoff competition. Timeout is called with 7 minutes to go in the fourth. 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Jazz with a 70-68 lead over the Bulls.
Karl Malone coming back for one more free throw, but you look at his first and third quarters during this year's playoffs. Great numbers, good start to each half, but it drops off. That could be his hand, it could be the strategy, could be fewer minutes, could also be the collapsing defense as he punishes them early.
Well, this is not a typical Karl Malone game. True, he has resorted to more perimeter jump shooting, which will keep him off the foul line, but he's got to barrel into the basket and then get to the free throw line a lot more.
The Jazz leading 71-68. Over the last 2 years here at home in the playoffs, the Bulls have won 17 and lost only once. And that loss was game 2 against Atlanta this season in the second round. Scottie Pippen continues his magnificent performance. It cuts it to a 1-point Utah lead.
Well, you saw that bench scoring number heavily in favor 2-1 of Utah. That's been the way for the Jazz all playoffs as Karl Malone drills that jumper.
And Longley got a piece of it. Malone with 17, the Jazz 73, and the Bulls 70. It's game one of the best of 7, game 2 here in Chicago on Wednesday. And then the scene will shift to Salt Lake City beginning on Friday night. Hopper for 3. And a loose ball foul.
Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman getting mixed up there. They're calling a double foul here. They'll jump it up at center court.
Malone and Rodman a call for the double foul.
Well, it's getting down to that time where the Jazz have to make some important decisions as to how they're going to guard Michael Jordan, who normally takes over a game in the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. And it looks like Stockton is going to continue to gamble off Ron Harper and double Michael as soon as he feels he's making his move.
Well, the Jazz able to control the tip with just under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth.
Marv, this is MVP time. This is when you pound it inside to Karl Malone and let him go to work.
And here's Malone.
Or settle for a jump shot. But he is taking Luke Longley out there where Luke Longley is just not going to be an effective defender.
Turning face against the big guy. Torture him.
19 for Malone. Utah by 5. 5.5 remaining. Nice pass from Longley. Good look by Luke Longley. It's now 75-72.
Same thing. Karl Malone every single time.
Malone again from the outside. Rodman with the rebound. Good box out on Carr. Pippen being played by the rookie Anderson. Jordan posting up on Hornacek. Here comes Anderson. Shot clock at 4. And it's stolen by Stockton.
Bring it out and get something good.
The battle between Pippen and Malone.
It was so loud you couldn't hear the whistle. Everybody was playing.
Illegal defense called for the first time on Chicago.
Well, off the pick and roll, John Stockton drawing the defense to him, and a little pick and pop for Karl Malone as Luke Longley too slow getting out there. And then once again, Luke Longley too slow to react and challenge that shot by Karl Malone.
I don't know anybody in basketball who could ever guard that play by Karl Malone. That's a 21-foot jumper.
Stockton lost it. He thought he was fouled. And Jordan looking to reset. Hornacek is with him. Here comes Malone. Here's Jordan. Yes. The Utah lead is down to 1 with just under 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. 17 turnovers tonight for Utah. That's a team playoff high for this year. And a foul is called away from the ball, to hold on Longley.
Michael Jordan going to work on Jeff Hornacek. Karl Malone coming over to double team, but is going to overrun the play and let Michael Jordan knife inside to get that shot off. When you double Michael, you better make sure you clamp it.
14 fouls on Chicago, 3 on Utah. Here's Stockton. Wild pass. That's turnover number 7 committed by John Stockton.
Utah needs to play with poise here.
Jordan behind the back. Sets it up for Longley. Yes. The Bulls have taken a 1-point lead. A 6-0 run for Chicago. Hornacek for 3. Can't handle it. Pippen does. Pippen for 3. Jordan gets to the rebound, but a loose ball foul from behind on Rodman.
John Stockton down the lane. Now, you never jump to pass. He's thinking, looking, trying to find Karl Malone. That turnover, the 18th of the game, comes to Michael Jordan in the open court there, one-on-one against Hornacek. finds the spot-up jump shooting Luke Longley net.
Three minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Bulls now lead the Jazz 76-75.
Well, terrific shooting by the two stars, and you certainly expect Michael Jordan to bounce back from some of the uneven shooting performances that he has, but an unbelievable performance by Scottie Pippen, who was very questionable, doubtful that he would even play in this ballgame. The rest of the Chicago Bulls not involved very much offensively.
But that has been the strategy for Jerry Sloan. Make the individual stars, Akeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, beat you, shut down the rest of the guys. Now, Karl Malone's delivery time.
1 of 2 at the line for Malone. Another glaring statistic from a negative vein for Utah. John Stockton with 7 turnovers. That equals a season high as we look at the career playoff numbers of Karl Malone.
Well, you can pencil in that 27 in just about any game that Karl Malone plays, but you would expect the field goal percentage to be a little bit higher, but it's down, I think, because he has become more of a perimeter jump shooter.
Clutch free throw shooting by the NBA's most valuable player, Karl Malone. And the Jazz leading by 1. Just under 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Jordan posting, putting moves on Hornacek, and was forced into a difficult shot. Hornacek played him well.
Great defense by Hornacek, staying on his feet. The crowd here trying to make some noise, but really almost all you hear is the rattling and shaking of their jewelry.
Is this a commentary on Midwestern life?
You'll hear a different crowd in Utah, I guarantee you that.
Carr on the recovery. And Jordan was stopped. The Kukoc recovered. Again, Jordan working on Hornacek, this time at the other side. Jordan, will it count? Will he get the call? No. Will not. The Bulls wanted it. The foul before the shot attempt on Hornacek.
And a break for Utah, as I'm sure Jerry Sloan reminded his team coming out of that last timeout. They had a foul to give, although I don't think that was an intentional one. Michael clearly had Hornacek and the double team beat.
Next foul will put them over the limit. Here's Jordan. Michael Jordan has worked his way back in terms of the stroke, and the Bulls lead by 1.
The double team coming too slow and not tough enough.
28 points for Jordan. We are down to 1:40 to go in the fourth. Can of defense. Malone with the opening. Malone with the drive.
And I guess what set all that up was the fact that he has been making that outside shot, and it sucked Luke Longley right out there so Malone could get the penetration.
23 points for Karl Malone. Utah by 1. 1:20 remaining in the fourth. Jordan spinning his way on Hornacek. Rebounded by Harper. Pippen for 3. Yes! Chicago 81, Utah 79 as we approach 1 minute remaining in the fourth of Game 1 of the Best of 7 NBA Final Series. Stockton for 3, yes! The Jazz by 1, 82-81.
One stop, that's all the Jazz need right now. Their offense is in gear. They got to pound that glass.
40 seconds remaining in the fourth. Jordan. And a foul is called on Hornacek. It puts Utah over the limit.
John Stockton, after almost everybody on the team touched it, John, they finally gave it back to him and almost forced him to shoot. Drilled the 3 like he did to clinch the Houston series. And now Jordan at the line.
Timeouts remaining. Utah has 3. Chicago at 3 and a 20. Both teams over the limit. Jordan 4 of 5 at the line. And the game is tied at 82.
And Dennis Rodman coming on for Chicago for the defensive sequence, and no doubt to try to help on the backboard.
The game clock favors the Chicago Bulls. The way it is right now, they'll have the last possession if they can contain their own or control their own defensive backboard.
Down to 35 and 8/10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Michael Jordan missing on the second attempt. The score remains tied at 82.
It's got to be Karl Malone here. This is MVP time.
Karl Malone down at the right baseline being defended by Rodman. Shot clock is down to 5. 15 seconds on the game clock. Stockton setting it up for the three. And Malone with the recovery, and a foul has been called. Looks like a loose ball foul being indicated by Bill Oates. It's against Chicago. It's on Rodman.
Well, first of all, it was terrific defense by the Chicago Bulls on the high pick and roll. Stockton had to go back towards his own man, forced to take a tough shot. But Dennis Rodman hanging on to that back and pulling on Karl Malone, who just wanted that rebound more than anybody else.
He's 3 of 4 at the line. 23 points, 15 rebounds, 9 and 2/10 seconds to go. You remember Malone hit just 6 of 12 at the line. Game 7 at Seattle last year in the Western Finals. I also mentioned he had that 18 for 18 this year in the playoffs. See the numbers right there. Both teams have plenty of timeouts remaining. Score is tied. 9 seconds left. Oh, he missed the break. Rebounded by Jordan. And the Bulls take a timeout with 7 and 5/10 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Down to 7 and 5/10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The game is tied at 82. A look at that second free throw by Karl Malone.
Extremely soft touch on both of them, and keep an eye on Karl Malone backing up as he shot, and you should never do that. You got to hang in there on the free throw and follow through.
But that's behind you. You got to move on. They've come with Shandon Anderson here to guard Scottie Pippen. They got Brian Russell on Michael Jordan. Disciplined defense, forced the fadeaway jumper. Don't foul.
Jazz over the foul limit. We're down to 5. Jordan putting moves on Russell. We're down to 2. Now to 1. Here's Jordan. Yes! It is all over. The Chicago Bulls have won at the buzzer in game 1 of the best of 7 on the jump shot by Michael Jordan. With an 84-82 victory in dramatic fashion over the Utah Jazz. Michael Jordan going right at Brian Russell and hitting on the jump shot.
Standard set play, end of game for the Chicago Bulls, and a smart play by Chicago by putting the ball in Jordan's hands where it'd be very difficult to come double team. They took Stockton away, of course, with Steve Kerr. He had to watch him, and Brian Russell at Michael Jordan's mercy.
But Bill Jackson, so calm all the time, gets up and goes, all right, I like that guy on my team. But they got it to Jordan early, and Brian Russell stabbed at it. He didn't play the position. He gave Jordan the opening.
So Michael Jordan with 31 points, including the game winner. He's with Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Mark. Michael, you were so businesslike all day. You knew this was not going to be an easy task, and you rose to the occasion.
Well,
You know, the first game is always a tougher game. I don't care what anybody says. I think Utah came in, they played extremely well. I'm pretty sure they're going to take a more victory from today's game. But, you know, I think we had a good feel for them. We found out a good feel for them. And, you know, down the stretch, it was nip and tuck. You know, it could have went either way. And, you know, I missed the free throw call, comes down and missed 2 free throws. So, I mean, MVPs didn't do much down the stretch until I was able to knock the shot in down the stretch.
It was almost like a boxing match, sparring. You know, nobody really throwing a knockout punch till it got down to the end.
No, it was a close game all throughout the game, and, you know, it was going back and forth, and whoever made the best plays down the stretch was going to win the ball game.
Well, it is on. It is on. And we will see you on Wednesday. All right, great game. All right, let's go over to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. I'm here with Scottie Pippen. Scottie, how were you able to play and manage to play through all this pain today?
Well, Jim, I spent a lot of time since Friday doing